Now, just before I begin this video, I'm making this so you, the viewers watching, can keep up with what I'm doing as a human. And doing this will make me a better human. I have finally decided to quit Fortnite. Well, not really quit Fortnite, but I'm not going to be a content creator for it anymore. And I definitely need to stay off the game now. I want you guys to watch through this video if you have the full time to do so, understand where I'm trying to come from, and why I'm overall no longer playing the game Fortnite. First off, this video is meant to understand why I'm making the decision as read in the title of this video, and secondly, this video is planned. It is scripted because I have terrible brain memory and terrible speaking, so when I read the script right in front of me, it will be easier for me to speak to you guys without me stuttering a lot or saying some things that would make you, the viewers, rather confused. I am going to explain some things that I disagree with that are inside Fortnite, explain my health, and how much has changed during my time of not enjoying Fortnite. So like many people, I started playing the game since Season 1. Chapter 1, Season 1. The game was new, fresh, and something to learn from. So I'm a veteran to the game, even though I don't have Renegade Raider or Black Knight. Whether or not I would die the most dumbest ways, the most toxic ways, or the normal way, it was fun. Like, I remember I got danced on just before I got eliminated, and I just thought of it as, okay, and you peacefully move on to the next game. And around Season 3 was slowly but surely my downfall. Yes, it's been that long. In Season 3, this channel you are watching right now was reinstated after its 4-month suspension. And to the 10 people who watched me live stream back in the day, I was not motivated. You can tell I was not motivated. I was always sad about not having a lot of viewers, not being good at the game, and I've always down-talked myself. No matter how hard I try, no matter how much I try to get hits, I'm never going to do it. I just can't be good than a common player. I'm worse than a common player, or I'm worse than an average player. That's embarrassing. The reasoning for that was because I was living a hard life. I was battling depression. I was never suicidal, but I was not motivated. I was not focusing and was not happy. So when I first got my hands into Fortnite, my start in the community was negative. Moving on to Season 5, I was starting to do better mentally. I've been speaking to my therapist, and the channel was starting to do a tad better. That season was pretty much the season I started editing more on my videos, trying to make memes so I can make my videos funny, because only speaking would not really help out, and as I said, I don't speak well. So adding memes in my videos made my videos better. I was happy. In Season 6, personally, I think that's when I started to rage. I broke my $100 monitor and got heavily made fun of for it. So many kids, including teenagers, were laughing at me, bullying me for breaking my monitor. I was so pissed off, like I wanted to punch somebody. After I broke my monitor, I took a 2-week break from playing Fortnite. I've been going outside and have been exercising, and within an hour of playing Fortnite after my 2-week break, I've already raged. My anxiety started kicking in, and it kept increasing the more I kept playing. And then we have Season 7, which would be December of 2018. Personally, I think Season 7 was when everyone was unquote sweaty. Everyone would crank 90s, be in a 1x1, which is still a struggle for me to survive in. I still die a lot going against someone while I'm in or not in a 1x1. And finally, competitive Fortnite rose quickly from there. And if you have watched my videos from Season 7, I've raged. I've never raged that much attempting to content create and make my videos entertaining. Can't even build. Are you kidding me?
You smart.
Whoa, what? Whoa, what? Hang on.
Fuck off.
Hang on. What? My freaking sense! Please! It won't press C! Did he? And that was why I released a video called Fortnite is not fun anymore during Season 7. And you want to know the smartest move Epic Games has made? Just a few days after I uploaded that video, they added Siphon to public matches. And because I actually liked it and it made me enjoy the game again, I got back to playing Fortnite again. I basically just got played into continuing to make Fortnite videos. Originally, I was going to make videos on Apex Legends, but Epic Games was so smart to add Siphon Siphon to Fortnite at that right time. I'm not saying Epic Games added Siphon because of me, it's the perfect timing of that to happen from where I was at that present time. Fast forwarding to Season 8 in 2019, the season Epic Games removed Siphon and Field of View from Fortnite, popularly known as Stretch Resolution. Everyone in the community was mad, of course, but because Epic Games was so smart against my situation, they made the game addicting again. And I couldn't break it until recently, of course. And for crying out loud, I hope, and I truly hope, they don't add anything good again, because I don't want to put my hands in this game anymore. But because Valorant has been popping off way better than Fortnite, even stealing Myth, I would not be surprised if Epic Games added something for content creators and competitors to like after I upload this video. Back on topic. From Season 9 to present, I hated the game but was addicted to it, and I feel really happy knowing that I was powerful enough to make this tough decision. Again. A while back in Season 11, I was playing Team Rumble because I was trying to finish some challenges that were released. At one point when I was trying to replace a wall of someone's 1x1, I successfully did that. However, I couldn't edit it because I messed up. So what happened there was, the person inside pickaxed down my wall and one pumped me without giving me the time to react. After that, I almost broke my mouse that I'm currently using. The day I slammed my mouse out of anger, I wasn't able to use it for about 2 days because I wasn't sure if I could fix it. Fortunately, thank God I did. If you think about it though, imagine me breaking my mouse. I had to get used to a new sensitivity, the new mouse, and it's just going to ruin my aim even worse. Speaking of Team Rumble, I now started playing Team Rumble in Fortnite more often than playing solos, duos, squads, etc. Basically, the only time I'd be in a pub solo match would be when I'm recording. Most of my level ups are also from Team Rumble. The only reason I like Team Rumble is because for me being average and being one of those people to just die real quick, Team Rumble allows me to go back and fight without having to wait in the lobby for 2 minutes. Whenever I'm aggressive in solos, I am in the lobby or spawn island more than actually playing. That's why I play Team Rumble more, but as days went on, I started losing interest in Team Rumble because of me raging, and that left me to not enjoy any game mode in Fortnite. With how Chapter 2 works, getting a lot of kills does not matter anymore due to skill-based matchmaking. The strategy is now winning, and some of you know me, I'm aggressive and I've wanted to get a 20 kill game ever since I got a 16 kill win, which was 7 kills above my previous record. But since we now have skill-based matchmaking, I've given up my 1-year attempt. And what I also realized throughout playing Fortnite since Season 1, I've only gotten 75 overall wins. Unfucking believable. Now before I continue on with this video, I'm going to point out some things about Fortnite and why it's not a good game, and why it makes me frustrated, especially to some people, why it's unfair, and a lot of other stuff. There will be some opinions through this, but I will point some things out. Thank you for sticking through so far. One of my frustrations in Fortnite is how lucky or unlucky you can be, when skill should be your top priority. Skill does not really matter in Fortnite. Sort of. What matters is luck. Don't believe me? Well, first off, we have Bloom. Ginormous Bloom. Whether or not you are aiming down sights, especially when you cannot aim down sights after jumping or sliding off a hill, the Bloom is big. If you don't know what Bloom is, Bloom, also known as recoil, is what makes your bullets from a weapon spread out so the weapon you are using is not 100% accurate. So if your crosshair is on an enemy, you won't hit the person 100% of the time because your bullets spread. And because the bullet spread is random, you don't know if you'll hit your enemy once or 10 times. That's lucky or unlucky. However, if you stand still for about 2 seconds, you will eventually get first shot accuracy. But with how the game works and it being a battle royale, you can get sniped at any time because you have to stand still just to shoot someone for 20 damage. There's no reason to have your bullet spread because you can build in the game. If you get hit once or twice, you can build and protect yourself so you don't take a lot of damage. Personally, I do not mind the damage drop after a long distance. I'll admit, doing 36 damage with a legendary scar from 200 meters was and is pretty overpowered. But my best advice to make the game good without dealing with heavy recoil, increase the damage drop off or decrease the damage of the assault rifle, which is the weapon everyone uses that has a lot lot of recoil. Now, I have actually seen the shooting test added to Fortnite in December of 2017 and January of 2018. This was when Fortnite was testing out to see what it was like playing Fortnite without any bloom. Now, the only reason Fortnite decided not to remove bloom back then was because everyone was an easy target. Barely anyone would build in the game after getting shot, and there was no damage drop off. So I will admit the game mode was pretty overpowered to some people, but the only reason Epic Games didn't remove bloom was because the test mode was added in too early to get actual responses. Epic Games, you should try to add this test mode again, but with the increased damage drop off, and because everyone is now a psychopathic builder, I want to see how much damage players can do before the opponent's build for defense. However, keep the recoil when not aiming down sights. Only to assault rifles and pistols since they have first shot accuracy. In my opinion, SMGs and shotguns are good the way they are, but I can leave that up to you, Epic Games. I have seen people talk about having no bloom will decrease the chances of winning a fight. If you run out of materials, my response is unlucky. Just unlucky. People say that all the time. You cannot win every single fight, whether it's a shotgun battle, a legitimate AR battle, a build battle, etc. There will be unfortunate moments where you lose the game. That's how every game should work the correct way. And just throwing this in here, with bloom while aiming down sights being in the game, and with it being such a huge problem in the game, there shouldn't even be an accuracy percentage in the game stats if Epic Games is allowing bloom to adjust it on a negative level. Another frustration is the FOV, which stands for field of view. I know some might already complain about me wanting stretch resolution back. Honestly, I don't. I will admit stretch resolution can give motion sickness because it's stretched and not seen correctly. My stretch resolution back in the days was 1440 by 1080, but I did not like 1280 or 1080 because it was stretched. The field of view for native resolution, which for most is 1920 by 1080, is too zoomed in. The native FOV that is currently locked and cannot be adjusted is 80. And if everyone had an option to adjust their field of view without stretch resolution, then nobody will have motion sickness and can also be aware of what's going on better. EJ Ladd, a YouTuber who purchased an FOV hack to get an FOV slider, got banned for purchasing it and has since lost his main Fortnite account and was also hardware banned.
Tell by the title of the video, I've been banned from Fortnite. Yep, I've been hardware banned by Epic. So yeah, I'm hardware banned. Now, I think I'm in a similar position to FaZe Jarvis, if any of you have heard how he got banned recently for using aimbot in pubs, and that is for using an FOV slider in creative only. Now, I didn't play one public match the whole time I had this slider. I didn't ruin anyone's game or anything, I only used it to make my videos look better. The main reasons I got this FOV slider in the first place was to get rid of this motion sickness I get when I play. Now, I'm sure most of you guys are aware how terrible the field of view is on Fortnite. So zoomed in and you can't even see anything around you.
The reasoning EJ purchased an FOV slider was because the current FOV, which is 80, gives motion sickness, which is the main reason why Epic Games removed stretch resolution in the first place, because people were apparently getting motion sickness. Personally, I have not dealt with that, but knowing someone can get motion sickness from 80 FOV, then for sure someone else out there is getting it. And with how many people play Fortnite, a lot of people are getting motion sickness. That's why we need an FOV slider, so every player can have a good FOV so they don't have to deal with motion sickness. Additionally, stretch resolution is the people's option. They created it, it cannot be removed. Another thing that I personally get frustrated with 80 FOV is anytime players, especially me, who breaks down an opponent's build, it's hard to see them from above because the floor below you can lower your field of view, which can also make your character bigger in the screen and will block you from seeing the opponent more often. And Epic Games is not against breaking down structures. It's even one of the tips in the loading screen. I've complained so many times saying I can't see, I couldn't see, etc, etc, and it gets to me here and there. I do still feel frustrated about recording this, to be honest. This is why it is a frustration with mine. I've dealt with it for a while playing Fortnite ever since stretch resolution was removed. Competitive Fortnite is a joke. Fortnite competitive is a virtual clown. Ever since Arena was a permanent match for competitive Fortnite players, which was in Season 8, I thought about trying it out and finally get my hands into competitive Fortnite even more. I've done some competitive things that happened in Season 7 and 6, obviously didn't do very well, and have also done Arena, which was very game changing in the competitive scene. But after a while and I'm not enjoying it anymore, and after my progress of still playing Fortnite and educating myself to why I hated the game, anything Anything I have mentioned earlier in this video is the reason why competitive Fortnite is such a joke. But there are some other things I want to add. I do apologize if I do repeat myself in this topic, but hopefully you understand where I'm coming from. So the first one would be luck based. Of course, you have a lot of recoil / bloom. You don't know how much damage you're gonna do. It's all decided by bloom that Epic Games added. And I hope the damage done is enough to survive Storm Surge. And with bloom being in the game in competitive Fortnite, if you're trying to get first shot accuracy, you have to stand still. Keep in mind, you are going against 99 other competitive players who all of them are good snipers, I think. So because you're standing still, you're an easy target, you're gonna get sniped, dead, not enough reaction time. And why did you stand still? Because you're trying to damage an opponent. Maybe because he's out in the open, you're gonna be affected by Storm Surge, I don't know. And with bloom being in the way, those opportunities of saving yourself from moving on is a thumbs down. And it's not because of you or anyone else sucks at the game, it's because of your luck. Even though Booga dominated so hard and won the World Cup 2019, almost doubling second place winner Som, I'm sure he would still win regardless. But think about the opportunities that were lost. The placement, the chance to go to the World Cup, go to waste because the game is not allowing you to hit your shots, like you and every other competitor was trained to do or just grinded for it. That sucks. Another problem with competitive Fortnite are glitches. Many glitches. The fact that this game has been out for 2.5 years now, this game is still in beta. Now, to those who do not understand what beta means in online video games, beta means a game, like Fortnite, is not on a complete stage yet. So that means Fortnite is not 100% complete, and it will still have a lot of bugs, glitches, etc. And with Epic Games adding a competitive mode to Fortnite while it's still in progress, you have a chance of getting scammed. Whether money is involved or not, you're gonna get screwed over. I can name so many glitches that screwed over Fortnite competitive, such as the summer skirmish, fall skirmish, endgame battles where everyone lags, and a player getting kicked out of a competitive Fortnite tournament for not getting eliminated. And players are getting screwed over because Fortnite is still in beta with its glitches. And the bugs I will mention in competitive Fortnite happened the past few months. So one of the most recent bugs that was discovered in competitive Fortnite was the queue time. I remember back in season 10 watching the Europe Champion series, people were waiting to get in a game for 2 hours. People need to get 10 games in only 3 hours, and a good majority of people had to wait out 2/3 of the entire game. And it's not because there aren't enough players to make a full game, it's because the queue time is the problem. Normally, people who play on the Champion series queue up in like a minute or two, but long queue times still happen, and it has been for such a long time. But thankfully, Epic Games decided to redo the Champion series the next day. However, think about the opportunities missed from the day everyone waited. I'm sure a trio did really good at the start, but it was thrown in the trash by a queue time glitch. And one final thing that I know of that happened in chapter 2 is the scoring glitch. During week 2 of the Champion series for squads, Epic Whale, Rex, Scented, and Edgy were second place in that tournament. However, they were supposed to be first place. And now you may question, why were they second place? It's because of a glitch. They were going to get first place with 108 points. And because of the scoring glitch, the squad did not get any points from their 5th game out of 6. So they ended with 92 points, which is one behind from the first place squad. And because a squad like those 4 lost all of their points from that game, there's a good chance it might have happened to another squad. They lost $5,000 together just because of a glitch they cannot fix. Epic Games still encounters lag in Fortnite. To those who play or watch competitive Fortnite, you probably know Storm Surge. Storm Surge is used to eliminate players who have done the least amount of damage to the remaining players. For instance, Storm Surge damages players who have camped the most and have disengaged fights, eventually eliminating them. And during the World Cup solos, Dr. Lupo, who has also retired from Fortnite, has explained what Storm Surge is.
So Storm Surge is a mechanic to prevent players from potentially sitting and not engaging in fights. If there are a certain number of players at this point, when there's over 70, when the circle closes, people are going to start to take 25 damage every tick. That's every 5 seconds, unless they are over the threshold for the amount of damage done in the lobby. It's a way to encourage players to get engaged in fights without having to force anybody. You can't really just sit still the entire time. You've got to get engaged, get involved with what's going on.
The details Dr. Lupo mentioned is a lie. The only reason Storm Surge was added in the first place was to prevent lag, high ping, and packet loss. Epic Games cannot handle the amount of players yet, and here they are saying,
"Fuck it, let's still create a competitive Fortnite, even though the servers and the games cannot handle it yet."
And Storm Surge is hated by a lot of people, especially by Summit1G, who is a competitive gaming veteran. Asks what Storm Surge is because he's never seen anything like that in competitive gaming. When you're the person who is below the damage threshold, you have to play aggressive in a dumb way. It's like you're attempting to drop a 20 bomb or you're playing solo squads. The only difference is you're going against the top players. No noobs, no amateurs, not even above average players. Top professional players. And the reason you have to play dumb aggressive is because Epic Games is limited and will not allow pro players to make strategies like you can in many other BR games like H1Z1, PUBG, Apex Legends, and the new Call of Duty Warzone. In those games, almost everyone doesn't die early game. Some die mid game and the end game is history. In Fortnite, about 15% die early game, half the lobby dies mid game, and the end game is history. There are less players than you'd usually see, and opportunities have been taken because of Storm Surge and how limited Epic Games is. And because Epic Games is limited and will not allow players to have strategies, then there should not be a competitive Fortnite until the servers can handle it. Or there should not be 100 players in one game. What would prevent lag but have people make strategies? There should be only 50 players. Fortnite's first ever tournament, which was an invitational, took place in December of 2017. There was only 50 players in that tournament. Even though players would die real quick because nobody was a psychopathic builder, for sure the servers can handle at least 40 players in the mid/end game in the present time. And strategies have been completed. Since the beginning of 2019, especially when people were losing interest in Fortnite, Epic Games has put many touches to the game that also made people lose interest in Fortnite because of poor communication, and has since moved on to other popular games to make a living. There are times when communication may be unnecessary, such as the double pump being removed from the game. And to those who don't know, double pump is when you use 2 pump shotguns and you are able to shoot faster than the pump can. There were many other exploits that were in Fortnite but not as huge as the double pump was, such as deep dabbing then shooting, editing fast to where you can fly, and probably more popular than the 2, dashing. All of those that many people in the Fortnite community liked but was an exploit was necessary to be removed. However, some of the things that are bigger than those small exploits that were not exploits were eventually removed from the game, even though it did not cause any harm. One of them is an increased FOV, also known as stretch resolution, Siphon, adding overpowered weapons to competitive, patch notes, and forced cross-platform. Since I have already discussed the field of view, that will be scratched off the table for this topic. The main reason Epic Games removed Siphon was because new players or below average players had a decreased chance of getting a victory royale / winning the game. Now that we have skill-based matchmaking in public matches and the bad players play against other bad players or AI bots, Siphon should be re-added to the game. To those who don't know what Siphon is when you receive 150 materials and 50 health after you get an elimination. This was useful in case your health was pretty low after a fight and the chances of you dying to the storm and third parties would decrease. With skill-based matchmaking now a thing in every game except for Team Rumble, Siphon should return to public matches, since public matches are almost treated the same way as arena, but without the chances of winning money. This has been discussed many times, but public matches still remain to have no Siphon in public games. Epic Games has a history of adding overpowered weapons to Fortnite competitive. The first one would be adding the Infinity Blade in Season 7, which also took place during a $1 million tournament.
Oh no! He's on his tail. He's hunting him down. He gets 75 out of it, and that is going to be the elimination. I haven't really seen much of him. Nice is out of this. Some storm.
No, he was eliminated by Nice. Nice is still going off with the Infinity Blade.
He is.
And now he's on dive FPS. He only has to connect one time. Here it is.
That is so frustrating for dive PS to deal with there.
There it is, breaking walls now.
Oh boy. Oh boy. So weak, and he's gonna get.
You cannot hide from this man right now. Here it is, Nice back in the action. He's in the 1-by-1 with Uzi just shredding this player down. Might be Elam for Nice. We'll see what happens. We've seen the. Yeah, that's an Elam. That's an Exer right there.
Hey, Nice is this again? Oh, poor thing.
Gosh.
Oh, God bless.
The tournament was rescheduled, but as said before, opportunities from that day have been thrown in the trash. Epic Games also added the drum gun in Arena after it was unvaulted by player choice while it was overpowered. Epic Games added the boom bow in Arena when it was overpowered. They added the brute in Arena, and it lasted throughout Season 10. Epic Games also allowed side grading to receive a heavy assault rifle, and the competitive community did not like it at all. And finally, mythical weapons in Arena. Everything mentioned have been talked about many times and has taken way too long for them to be removed from Arena. Most of them are also the same day as when they were nerfed or vaulted. Many people have complained about this and asked to keep it in public matches, yet Epic Games refuses to do that. Epic Games has also stated that these overpowered weapons come to Fortnite to bring out a story to the seasons. That can be understandable, but it should be used for content, not for competition, because opportunities are taken away from people, especially with how much RNG is in the game. My best advice for when adding a new weapon is to test them out in public matches for at least 1 week. Let us players communicate with you, Epic Games, to see if it fits well in competitive Fortnite. If it does not, then keep it out of competitions. However, if Epic Games wants to have it inside competitive, then changes need to be done, such as nerfing it before putting it in competitive. This will also increase communication with competitive players and make the game more balanced, at least more likely than it is nowadays. Since the release of Chapter 2 Season 1, Epic Games' communication to the Fortnite community has become extinct. Patch notes were now an archive thing in the Fortnite community and are no longer present. This does put a negative effect on not only the entire community, but especially the competitive community, which I'll explain later on. This would fit well for the competitive Fortnite topic, but it's mainly talking about communication. Epic Games has no longer created patch notes since the launch of Chapter 2, and has since replaced it using a website called Trello. And if you were to look at the Trello, the only information Epic Games provides us are bugs and glitches that are resolved. Plus, they don't even say in detail if they are fixed or not. They copy and paste the issue before it was resolved in the first place. And with how many kids play Fortnite, they will most likely not understand what issues have been resolved due to them not being good at logical thinking yet. That means they cannot get any updates immediately from Epic Games themselves. The only possible way to get full updates or unquote patch notes are from third-party services. But because this is from players experiencing and attempting to explore these new updates, third-party patch notes can most likely take a whole day, probably even weeks, to find out the full updates. There is no more immediate information because we don't know. There is no reason given as to why Epic Games is not giving us patch notes. This also affects the competitive community because they are unaware of what has happened. To set a good example, Cypher PK has said something similar to this and explains that he is learning new updates during a tournament.
Literally, one of the porta potties outside of Misty that I used to get in, and it would take me to Lazy Lake. Last week, when I was playing the FNCS, or the week before, I got in there, and it took me to another part. It didn't take me to Lazy Lake. And then they changed that same week. I found out that they changed it in the middle of a tournament. Like, I didn't get killed by it, but like, imagine if I did.
Now do you see why patch notes are important? Without patch notes, it's now unfair towards several people playing competitively, because some will know the full updates and have changed their strategies, while others do not know and remain the same. You can also call it old school. This does not create a healthy or a fair tournament to those who are willing to compete, because some of the things going on is not anyone's fault but Epic Games. So Epic, please bring back patch notes and give us detailed information. You have created a Fortnite status Twitter account for a reason. Use it properly. Forced cross-platform has always been a thing, but Epic Games did not support it yet until around late 2018. Before that, PC players would get into controller lobbies before controller players had their aim assist buffed, to the point where controller players had the option to play against PC players or not. But for PC players, they have always been forced to play against console players since late 2018. There are times when controller players were given hardcore aim assist, to the point where PC players cannot content create anymore, but rage, one of them being me. There are also times when controller players aim assist would be nerfed, and now controller players have been complaining about being forced to go against PC players because console players no longer have the option to play against PC players or just console players. In my opinion, the only time PC and console players should meet up is when they are in arena, because everyone is trying to win tournaments. But for content creators, especially console ones, should not be forced to go against PC players if they now have more of an advantage. Some people have speculated that cross-platform will make things challenging for both PC and console, but because so many adjustments have been made to console players, the chances of it being challenging is slim, and the chances of it being unfair is very high, and most definitely common. It's only going to be people raging at the game and end up quitting, that being myself. Plus, if we are playing public matches, why do we need challenge? Public matches are meant for content creating, having fun, and you cannot make money from Epic Games themselves playing public matches. That's why forced cross-platforms should be in arena and only arena, so people can have a fun side to the game. I am personally saddened to know we have learned this game to see it become a hellhole. I've even made so many friends, had so much more experience inside gaming, and even saw small content creators eventually rise, especially Ninja, who I remember back in the H1Z1 days. But that's how life works. There will be a rise and a downfall, and that is where Fortnite is heading. But due to their atrocious decisions, they will end in a negative manner. Unlike games that end on a positive note, Minecraft in 2016 for example, nobody will care about Fortnite anymore and will have more haters and will not have any revivals due to Epic Games' poor decision and poor communication. However, the popularity that has been given to people will be the only greatest thing in the Fortnite community. And now, this will be the end of my Fortnite journey. The only time I might play the game is whenever a new season comes into play, but that only depends on Epic Games actually listening to their fans. Other than that, I'm no longer playing this game. And before I head out, make sure to use my creator code IT'sBrey in the item shop. This will be the last time I'll ever say that. Oh yeah, fuck the hashtag ad. Fuck the hashtag epic partner. Just use it before it gets removed. To those who are curious what I will be creating from now on, I do plan on making more funny videos with my friends. When I made the Scribble video with my friends, I did have lots of fun, and I want to continue doing that because my friends are legendary communicators. With that, I will have much more fun making videos, and hopefully I'll be able to start uploading more. But anyways, thank you to those who have watched until the end. If you have anything to say, please let me know in the comments down below. Any advice would be great since I am now making a switch, and I hope we as a community can stay on top while we make this move. Anyways, welcome to a new chapter on the Brey YouTube channel.